She froze when she saw it. A tiny German shepherd trapped between metal bars, whimpering for help. What the girl did next shocked everyone. It was one of those perfect afternoons in the neighborhood. It was the kind of day where nothing bad seemed possible, until Emily heard it. A faint, high-pitched whimper. At first, she thought it might be a bird, but the sound came again, longer this time, trembling. Emily's head tilted. She dropped her chalk and followed the sound, stepping toward the old side gate between their house and the neighbor's yard. And then she saw him. A tiny German shepherd puppy wedged between the cold, rusted bars of the gate. His little chest heaved quickly, his paws scraped the dirt, and his wide, terrified eyes locked onto hers. He tried to pull back, but the bars pressed into his sides, trapping him. Emily's heart pounded. "Shoo, it's okay," she whispered, crouching down. The puppy let out another desperate whine. In that moment, Emily knew she couldn't just run for help. She had to try something. Emily took a slow step forward, her small sneakers crunching softly against the gravel. The puppy's ears flicked back. His tiny body froze, as if unsure whether to trust her or prepare to fight his way out. The metal bars pressed into his fur, and Emily could see faint red marks where he had been struggling. "It's okay, boy. I'm not going to hurt you," she whispered, her voice soft and steady, like she was talking to a scared friend. She crouched low so her face was level with his. The puppy sniffed the air between them, his wet nose twitching. Slowly, his frantic pawing stopped. His breathing was still quick, but the panic in his eyes began to shift, just slightly, into hope. Emily reached out her hand, palm open. The puppy hesitated, then pressed his nose into her fingers. It was a brief touch, but it was enough. She could feel how fast his little heart was pounding. Gently, she ran her fingers along the metal, testing how tight the bars were. They were solid, rough with rust, and far too close together. She wrapped her hands around one and tried to pull, but the gate didn't budge. Emily bit her lip. She wasn't strong enough to force them apart. For a second, she thought about yelling for her mom, but the puppy whimpered again, and she couldn't walk away. She realized she would have to be clever. Not stronger, just smarter. Emily sprang to her feet and dashed toward the kitchen door. Her mom called out something from the garden, but Emily didn't stop. She flung open the cabinet under the sink, rummaging until her fingers wrapped around a small bottle of cooking oil. Grabbing a clean towel from the counter, she ran back to the gate. The puppy was still there, his little body trembling, his eyes following her every move. Emily knelt beside him, twisting the cap off the bottle. "This might feel weird, but it'll help," she whispered. She poured a small amount of oil into her hands, rubbing them together before gently working it into the fur around his ribs and shoulders. The metal was cold against her fingers, and the puppy flinched at first, but she kept talking to him in a low, soothing voice. "Almost done. You're doing so good." With the oil slicking his fur, Emily wrapped the towel around his sides, giving her something to grip. She tilted his head slightly, trying to guide him backward. He whimpered and pushed forward instead, his little paws scrabbling against the dirt. "Okay, we'll do it your way," Emily said softly, adjusting her hold. She lifted gently, twisting his body just enough to slide one shoulder through the gap, then the other. With a final wiggle, the puppy popped free and tumbled into her lap. Emily gasped in relief, hugging him close. But her smile faded quickly. The puppy was limp, and he wasn't trying to stand. Emily's heart thudded in her chest. The puppy's head rested heavily against her arm, his tiny sides rising and falling far too slowly. "Mom," she shouted, her voice breaking. "Mom, hurry." Her mother came running from the garden, pruning shears still in her hand. The moment she saw the pup in Emily's arms, she dropped them onto the grass. "Oh my goodness, bring him here," she said urgently. They carried him to the porch, where Emily's mom wrapped him in a warm blanket and gently rubbed his back. "He's exhausted, probably dehydrated," she murmured. "Emily, get some water." Emily dashed inside, returning with a shallow bowl. She dipped her fingers in and let a few drops trickle onto the puppy's tongue. His nose twitched, and he gave a faint lick. Just then, their neighbor, Mr. Harris, jogged up the driveway. His face was pale. "That's him. That's my pup," he exclaimed. "I've been searching all morning. How did you find him?" Emily's voice was quiet but steady. "He was stuck in the gate. He couldn't get out. Mr. Harris crouched down, his eyes glassy. You saved his life. But Emily didn't look up. She stayed focused on the puppy, stroking his ears, whispering, "It's okay now. You're safe." She wasn't ready to let him go, not until she knew he was truly out of danger. Over the next few days, Emily couldn't stop thinking about the little German shepherd. Mr. Harris named him Lucky, and the name fit perfectly. But every time Emily visited, she could see traces of the ordeal in his eyes, moments where he'd freeze if a door closed too quickly, or tuck his tail when he heard metal clanging. She started coming over every afternoon after school. Sometimes, she'd bring small treats, other times just her presence. Lucky always perked up when he heard her voice, padding over to greet her with a cautious wag of his tail. One afternoon, Emily sat cross-legged in the grass, and Lucky curled into her lap like he had that first day. His head rested on her knee, eyes half closed in contentment. Mr. Harris watched from the porch, smiling softly. "You know," he said, "I think he trusts you more than anyone else." Emily smiled, brushing her fingers through Lucky's soft fur. "Maybe because I was there when he needed someone." Months passed, and Lucky transformed from a timid, shaky pup into a healthy, playful whirlwind of energy. His once thin frame filled out, his coat gleamed, and his tail wagged freely whenever he spotted Emily. On Emily's 8th birthday, Mr. Harris knocked on her family's door. Standing beside him was Lucky, wearing a big red bow around his neck. Emily's eyes widened. Is he for me?" Mr. Harris smiled. "He's been yours since the day you saved him. I think it's time to make it official." Emily dropped to her knees, hugging Lucky so tightly he let out a happy grunt. "Best birthday ever," she whispered. From that day forward, Lucky never left her side. Whether it was walking to school, playing in the yard, or sleeping at the foot of her bed, he was always there, her shadow, her guardian, her best friend. And together, they proved that sometimes the smallest act of kindness can create a bond that lasts a lifetime. If Emily's courage and Lucky's story touched your heart, tap like, share, and subscribe for more real-life moments of hope. What would you have done if you found a puppy in trouble? Tell us in the comments. Thanks for watching.